The human body is a highly sophisticated machine. It performs many complex functions, each of which helps us live. The human body is made up of billions of different types of cells. Cells are the basic units of life and contribute in special ways to keep the body functioning normally. Cells divide and specialize to form different kinds of tissue. Tissues make up organs, and organs make up the various body systems. This video will review each of the major body systems. Understanding how the body systems work will help you provide better care. Let's begin by looking at the musculoskeletal system. The musculoskeletal system is a complex framework of bones, ligaments, muscles, and tendons. It is made up of the muscular and skeletal systems. The musculoskeletal system supports the body, protects internal organs, allows movement, and produces heat and blood components. There are hundreds of muscles in the human body. Muscles are made of special tissue that can contract or shorten and relax or return to its original length to produce movement. Tiny electrical signals called nerve impulses stimulate muscles to contract. There are three types of muscles. Skeletal muscles, or voluntary muscles, help give the body its shape and make it possible to move, such as when smiling, talking, or walking. Tough connective tissue bands called tendons attach these muscles to bones. Smooth muscles, or involuntary muscles, are found in the walls of tube-like organs, ducts, and blood vessels. Cardiac muscle is a special type of involuntary muscle that allows the heart to contract and pump blood. The skeletal system includes bones and ligaments. Bones are the hard, dense tissue that forms the skeleton. They vary in size and shape in different body regions and include the skull, spinal column, thoracic cage, the shoulders and upper extremities, and the pelvis and lower extremities. Joints connect bones with each other. Strong connective tissue bands called ligaments hold the bones at the joint together. All joints have individual degrees of flexibility and movement. Some of the larger joints of the limbs are indicated here. The respiratory system breathes life into the human body. It supplies the body with oxygen, which all cells need to survive, and it also removes carbon dioxide from the body. This is done through the breathing process called respiration. Breathing in, or inhaling, brings air into the lungs through the airway. First, air enters the body through the mouth and nose, where it is warmed, humidified, and filtered. Then, air moves progressively down the upper and lower airways until it reaches millions of tiny thin-walled air sacs called alveoli. Here, oxygen passes into the bloodstream and carbon dioxide passes from the blood into the alveoli. When breathing out or exhaling, the carbon dioxide is expelled from the body. At rest, the average adult breathes between 12 and 20 times a minute in a steady rhythm. We can observe respiration by watching the chest rise and fall as the lungs expand and relax. The body stores enough oxygen to last for several minutes. If the oxygen supply is cut off, brain cells will start to die in 4 to 6 minutes. The cardiovascular system includes the heart, blood vessels, and blood. Its primary function is to transport oxygen, nutrients, and other essential chemical elements to the body's cells, as well as remove waste products such as carbon dioxide. The cardiovascular system is driven by regular contractions of the heart muscle. A normal adult heart beats at an average rate of 60 to 100 times a minute. As it does, blood is pumped throughout the body. Oxygen-rich blood moves from the heart to the body through large blood vessels called arteries. These branch into smaller vessels, eventually delivering oxygen to the cells through tiny, thin-walled blood vessels called capillaries. Capillaries also receive waste products and carbon dioxide from the cells. Blood vessels called veins deliver carbon dioxide and oxygen-depleted blood back to the heart. The heart itself is the central organ of the cardiovascular system. It is divided into 4 chambers: the right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle, and left ventricle. The right and left sides of the heart play opposite yet complementary roles in the heart's continuous cycle of receiving and pumping blood to and from the lungs and body. The right atrium receives oxygen-depleted blood from the veins of the body and delivers it to the right ventricle. The right ventricle then pumps the blood to the lungs for oxygenation. The left atrium receives oxygen-rich blood from the lungs and delivers it to the left ventricle, which then pumps the blood back to the body through the arteries. These individual processes of the left and right sides of the heart occur simultaneously. In addition, with every heartbeat, a wave of blood moves through the blood vessels. This is called the pulse. The pulse can be felt at several pulse points in the body, where arteries pass near the surface of the skin and over a bone. Examples include the carotid pulse point in the neck and the brachial pulse point on the inside of the upper arm. The nervous system is the most complex and delicate of all body systems. Along with the endocrine system, the nervous system regulates all other body systems. It also transmits messages to and from the brain. There are 2 main anatomical systems of the nervous system. The first of these, the central nervous system, is made up of the brain and spinal cord. The brain is the master organ of the body. It controls sensory and motor functions, as well as the integrated functions of consciousness, memory, emotions, and use of language. The second anatomical system of the nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, is made up of the nerves outside of the brain and spinal cord. Within this system, electrical impulses carry information back and forth between the body and the central nervous system. Within the peripheral nervous system are 2 functional systems that are responsible for this constant communication with the brain. The first is the voluntary system. In the voluntary or somatic system, impulses travel from the nerves to the brain to register sensation, such as touch and taste. The voluntary system also controls impulses from the brain out through the nerves to direct motor function or movement of the body. The second functional system of the peripheral nervous system is the autonomic system. The autonomic system controls the involuntary muscles of the organs and glands. This includes functions such as the heartbeat and digestion. The most basic indication of a properly functioning nervous system is consciousness. The degrees of consciousness can vary from unconscious to very alert, but at all times, our awareness of the world and control of our bodies depends on the integrated performance of our nervous system. The integumentary system includes the skin, hair, nails, and the sweat and oil glands. This system protects the body, regulates fluid balance and body temperature, produces vitamin D, and stores minerals. The skin, the largest organ in the body, is divided into 2 layers. The epidermis, or outer layer of the skin, contains melanin. Melanin is responsible for skin color. The dermis, or second layer of the skin, supplies blood to the skin, hair, glands, and nerves, contains sensory receptors, and determines the skin's elasticity and strength. Subcutaneous tissue lies deep in the dermis and is composed of loose connective tissue and variable amounts of fat. Both the skin and subcutaneous tissue can vary in thickness depending on the body region. The skin helps the body retain fluids and keep germs out. When the skin is scratched or cut, germs, which can cause infection, can enter the body. The skin also helps maintain body temperature. If blood temperature rises, even slightly, perspiration is created and released through openings in the skin called pores. As perspiration evaporates, it cools the body. Blood supplies the skin with nutrients and can affect its color. When blood vessels widen, blood circulates close to the skin's surface and makes the skin appear flushed or red and feel warm. As blood vessels constrict, less blood is close to the skin's surface, causing the skin to appear pale or ashen and feel cool. Finally, the nerves in the skin are very sensitive to touch. temperature and pain, which makes the skin a vital part of the body's internal communication network. Together with the nervous system, the endocrine system regulates other body systems, and it plays a more significant role in the human body than most realize. The endocrine system influences traits such as strength, stature, hair growth, and behavior, controls blood glucose levels by the production and secretion of insulin, and helps to regulate water and electrolytes in the body. The endocrine system is made up of ductless glands. These glands secrete hormones, which are the chemical substances that enter the bloodstream and influence activity in different parts of the body. For example, the adrenal glands secrete epinephrine or adrenaline, as well as norepinephrine or noradrenaline hormones. Stimuli, such as stress, can trigger secretion of these hormones. This triggers physiological changes to prepare the body to react as it needs to. For example, an increased heart rate prepares the body to run if danger is present. Other glands include the pituitary gland, or master gland, which regulates growth, and the other glands. The pineal gland, which regulates waking and sleeping. The thyroid gland, which regulates metabolism, growth, development, and nervous system activity. The parathyroid glands, which control the level of calcium in the blood and bones. The pancreas, which secretes insulin, the hormone that regulates the amount of glucose in the bloodstream. And the gonads, which produce hormones that control reproduction and sex characteristics. In women, these are the ovaries. In men, these are the testes. The digestive system serves as the processor of the human body by making best use of the food we eat. The digestive system contains organs that break down food, absorb nutrients, and eliminate solid waste. Food enters the digestive system through the mouth. Digestion begins here as food is chewed and swallowed. Once swallowed, food travels down the esophagus. The esophagus is the passageway that leads to a major organ of the digestive system, the stomach. Enzymes in stomach acid break the food down into smaller components. Food then travels from the stomach into the small intestine, where further digestion takes place and nutrients are absorbed. As food enters the small intestine, bile from the liver and pancreatic juices from the pancreas contribute to the digestive process. From the small intestine, the food enters the large intestine. As the food passes through the large intestine, water is absorbed into the bloodstream, leaving behind the solid waste products of digestion. These waste products are passed through the rectum and anus as feces. The urinary system filters waste from the blood, eliminates waste from the body, and helps the body balance fluids and electrolytes. Two of the major organs of this system, the kidneys, are located on each side of the abdominal cavity. The kidneys filter waste from circulating blood and form urine. The ureters transport the urine from the kidneys into a small muscular sac called the bladder. Urine is stored in the bladder until it is ready to be eliminated from the body via the urethra. Buffers in this system balance fluids and electrolytes by controlling the acidity or alkalinity in the urine. This acid-alkaline balance is called the pH. The reproductive system is responsible for producing the cells and hormones that are necessary to create a new life. In women, the reproductive system also supports the developing fetus. The male reproductive organs include the penis, a duct system, testicles, and the urethra, which is also part of the urinary system. Because these organs are located outside of the pelvis, they are vulnerable to injury. The female reproductive organs include the ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, and vagina. Unlike the male organs, the female structures are internal and protected by pelvic bones. During a 28-day menstrual cycle, the female ovary will release a single egg. If the egg is united with a sperm, which is contained in semen that is ejaculated through the male urethra, the fertilized egg will attach to the lining of the uterus. This is the beginning of pregnancy. The egg from the female and the sperm from the male each contribute half of the genetic material to the fetus. The immune system consists of organs, tissues, and cells that fight off organisms or other foreign substances, including the body's own cells that have changed due to an illness, such as cancer. Lymphocytes are the primary cell type in the immune system. The two major types of lymphocytes are B cells and T cells. B cells mature in the bone marrow and form antibodies, substances that attack foreign substances and attempt to eliminate them. T cells mature in the thymus, a gland located just below the top of the breastbone. T cells attack organisms such as bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungi, and foreign tissue. Other organs and tissues of the immune system act as filters to remove debris and foreign substances. These include the tonsils and adenoids and spleen, as well as Peyer's patches in the intestine, appendix, and lymph nodes. With aging, the thymus gland decreases in size and T cell function also decreases. The antibodies associated with B cells are less responsive to invading organisms, such as pneumococcus and influenza. Pneumococcal and influenza vaccines are particularly recommended for older adults because of this change in B cell function and their increased risk for infection. Nurse assistants must be current on vaccines such as influenza because if you become ill, you could easily infect older adults in your care. Understanding how the body systems work when a person is healthy will help you recognize signs and symptoms of illness or dysfunction and enable you to provide care that maximizes the person's ability to function and heal.